Hello, 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 everyone. Let's see who plans to join us. All right, if you are here, go ahead and say hello in the comments so we know that you're hanging out with us. And I am going to very quickly find our live here and share with our group so all our friends can find us. Oh, goodness, are we live? Yes, we are. There we are. Okay, found it. Groups, and there's our VIP, and there's our team. Okay, that's taken care of. Okay, so tonight we are going to be playing with the Notes of Spring. Notes of Spring. This is a product of the month from last month. It is still available. So I thought I would go ahead and feature this one this month, this week. And this is our free with purchase class. So lots of fun with this one. But before we get started with our stamping, I am going to go over a few things real quick. Paper Pumpkin, April kit should be shipping out tomorrow. So we are now in the May subscription period. So for May, you have from now until May 10th to get in on this particular kit. This is called the Sparkling Celebrations. For this one, you're going to create bold celebratory cards, perfect for invitations, congratulations, and special occasions. It will make 9 cards, each of 3 designs with 9 coordinating envelopes. Pre-cut paper pieces with silver foil. Oh, hey, sis. Hello, Miss Sherry. The coordinating colors are going to be Blackberry Bliss, Coastal Cabana, Daffodil Delight, Melon Mambo, Misty Moonlight, Night of Navy, and Pumpkin Pie. And the ink spot will be Misty Moonlight. Let's see. It says it's going to give silver foil to give the cards an eye-catching finish. It will still coordinate with the Hoarder's die add-on, Beautiful Blooms. So if you have the Beautiful Blooms, it will coordinate with that set. Well, happy early birthday, Miss Sherry. Oh, I'm sorry you're still feeling under the weather. All right. So Notes of Spring is a product of the month from last month. Again, like I said, it is still available. This month, the product of the month is the Eyelet Blooms. And how this works is you spend $75 in the online store, and you get to choose, if you'd like, you can add the product of the month to your order for just $5. Now, the thing with the product of the month is you can only purchase it once a month. So you can't say, like, this week I'm going to get this product of the month, and because this one is left over from last month, I'll grab this one the next week. You can only get one a month. But they are available going for, how do I say this? So they're while supplies last. So if it continues to be in stock, they will offer it the next month, and that's when you can get it again. So if you were to get the leftover March product of the month here in April, you would have to wait until May to get the Eyelet Blooms die. However, there's no guarantee that the Eyelet Bloom die will be available in May. So you kind of have to weigh your options as far as how you get your product of the month. Definitely recommend, getting it during the month that it's available. Because again, like I said, it's not always guaranteed. But I did want to let you know that the April product of the month is the Eyelet Blooms die, but the March is still available, and that's the one we're featuring this week. January, we did have a online exclusive, but we also had a March, and I did not pull the March one. That's the one I wanted to pull. Here it is. March. We had the big drop. We're going to have a smaller one in May when the catalog goes live. Speaking of which, catalog should be arriving in mailboxes any day. Mine just arrived yesterday. So for those of you that I shipped catalogs to, you should start seeing them hitting mailboxes any day. I cannot open this catalog up for you on camera, not until May 5th. However, for right now, this is the cover, and I will tell you what is between those pages is awesome. I am going to show you a couple things that I did get on my pre-order, though. One of which is our new in color ink pads. And what is cool about these is they are magnetic. So they stack beautifully because they, I don't know if you can see that, but I just picked up all 5 of them. If you do it carefully, you can pick them all up. It's so cool. The other cool thing is they are magnetic as far as the top and bottom of your case is magnetic, so they snap right shut and they hold closed nicely. They're easy to open. It's not as difficult as the slide on our current stamps pads. And this is a felt pad, nice and juicy, but it's nice and firm. So less over inking of your stamps. This particular color, this is called Barely Blush. So I'll tell you the names of our new in colors. Oh, hey, Deb. Crisp Cantaloupe is a returning color. We had this a few years ago. I love that color. Then we have Golden Glow. Love these ink pads. Peaceful Pine, which is a gorgeous green. And then Hydrangea Hue, which is a gorgeous bluish orchid. And the thing with these new ink pads too, again, just like our other ink pads, when they're stored, your ink pad is top side down. So your ink is always at the top of your ink pad. So when you lay it out, the ink comes to the surface. So it makes it nice and easy to ink your stamp right up. Again, very easy to close and to open. So I love that feature. I will show you where is there. Here is our current ink pad in comparison. It's a little bit narrower, but a little bit longer. Oh, hey, Miss Kay. So glad you could join us. So if you can see that, this ink pad, a little narrower. So this one's a little wider, but it's a little bit longer. It does fit in your current storage container. So I have Stampin' Storage, the wooden Stampin' Storage storage unit for my ink pads. This fits in perfectly. It does stick out a little bit further, but again, it just makes it easy for pulling them out, but they fit nicely in there. It will also work with the Stampin' Up plastic storage. It does work with that as well. I did try it, and mine is over here, and they do fit nicely with that as well. So nice little thing about that. And did I bring over? I hope I did. I hope I did. I did. I have some comparisons for you of the colors. So for those that like to see the difference in color, this is the new Barely Blush. I compared it to Pretty in Pink, which is an outgoing in color, Flirty Flamingo, and Petal Pink. So this is a little bit more pink than the petal pink, where the petal pink has more of a peach tone. It's much lighter than the Pretty in Pink and the Flirty Flamingo. So this is more girly pink, where this, like I said, this pink here has more of a peach tone. So those are the difference in shades. Then I did Crisp Cantaloupe. I compared it to Peach Pie, which is another in color. We have Calypso Coral and Timid Tiger. Peach Pie being one going out. Timid Tiger is continuing for another year. But the Crisp Cantaloupe is maybe a couple shades lighter than the Timid Tiger. And maybe a shade or two, maybe a shade lighter than Calypso Coral. And then Golden Glow, here's that one. Compared that to Darling Duckling, Crushed Curry, and the Retired Wild Wheat. I pulled out my old Wild Wheat to try it in comparison, and very, very different. The Golden Glow does not even compare. Next, the Peaceful Pine. Love this color. This is the Peaceful Pine. Compared it to Shaded Spruce, Garden Green, Old Olive, and Mossy Meadow. And to me, the Peaceful Pine is kind of like Shaded Spruce and Mossy Meadow got together and had a baby and created Peaceful Pine. That's how I feel about that one. Where the Shaded Spruce is a little bit brighter. The Mossy Meadow is a little more olive green, and they mixed them together and it came out with the Peaceful Pine. That's that one. And then there's the Hydrangea Hue. Again, compared that to Azure Afternoon, Highland Heather, Gorgeous Grape, and then I pulled out the old Retired Seaside Spray. Hydrangea Hue, totally different than any of these colors. Love this color. This might be my favorite right now. But we'll see as we get playing with them. So those are the new in colors. Totally in love with them. Okay. Let's start talking stamping. So here are the cards we're making tonight. And again, this is a free with purchase class. You can place an order of $40 or more in my online store between now and the 15th of the month. And on the 20th, I will ship to you all these card kits. So you're going to get the little deer. Well, I can't stamp anything, and you'll have to order the stamp set to make these cards, or use what you have. We have the Happiest Birthday Wishes with this cute little deer, but I will do all the die cutting and send you the kits to make everything. Then we have our cute little A Note of Thanks bunny. Look at her. I don't know if you can see, but we use Wink Stella on the little bunny. And oh my God, she's so cute. Love this one. And then, of course, we have, it's not really a fun fold, but it is a different kind of a card here. This one says, especially for you, with our little duck. And we open it up. It's kind of a different take on the card. And that's it. And I love this daisy embossing folder. All right. We're ready to start stamping. Now that we did all that, we're going to start with our little Happiest Birthday Wishes. So for that one, I have all my little pieces here. And let's see. Okay, so we need a bone folder here. And we need our card base, which is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. We're going to go ahead and fold on that score line, and we'll use our bone folder to burnish that to give us a nice crisp fold. The next thing I have is a piece of early espresso. This measures 4 1/4 by 3 1/4. And I have a piece of the Designer Series paper, and this paper is, again, one of my favorites that I've been using quite a bit of is the Brushed with Beauty. I've shown this before. I've used this quite a few times in our classes here. Love, love, love this paper. One of my favorites. So I have a piece here that is cut to 3 inches by 4 inches. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to add adhesive. And we're going to layer these. Looks pretty good. And this is a directional paper, so you want to make sure that your vines are going in the right direction. We want everything growing upward and not down. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to add adhesive to the back of this panel. Really. There we go. And then this is just going to center onto our card front. Like so. So there's our card front. Then I have a piece of Very Vanilla and a scrap piece of Early Espresso. We're going to do some die cutting. And I have here the banner, which is the largest banner from our nested label or nested essentials dies. So we're using the largest. And then I have the second largest circle from our stitched, stylish shape dies. I have my magnet over here on my side and it's not behaving itself. There we go. Oh, I've got a mess going on right here. Okay, let's try that. There. Okay, so now we need our baby boss. And start with our circle. Run that through. Then we want our Berry Vanilla. And we're going to go ahead and cut out our banner. There we go. I have my little cushion here, my Stampin' Pierce mat, and get all of our pieces. Put everything back on our magnet so they don't get lost. Scraps in the scrap bin. All right, so now I need my stamp that says happiest birthday. We want our early espresso ink pad. And we're going to go ahead and ink up our stamp. All right, so now I'm just going to stamp happiest birthday right here at the bottom of the banner, like so. So now we have happiest birthday. Clean that off. Did anybody look at the last chance list on the website? If you love the Stampin' and scrub like I do, that is on the last chance list. So now's the time to grab one. I mean, I love my stamp chamois. I really do. However, when I really need to get in and scrub my stamps, there's nothing better than a Stampin' scrub. Okay, so now I'm going to ink up my deer, the outline, in early espresso. And I'm going to stamp my deer right on top of my happiest birthday. Right there, like so. Just like that. Okay. And now, what's fun about these stamps is they do give you stamps that will allow you to color in your image. So I'm going to ink this up in early espresso again. This is the filler for the deer. And then I'm just going to stamp off on a scrap piece of cardstock I have here with me. This is going to allow me to stamp a lighter color. Make sure everything looks like it's lining up. And there's our little deer, just like so. Isn't she cute? Okay, so there's our deer. I'm going to close up the early espresso. We're going to get this out of the way for a minute. So I'm going to bring our card back. And we need our dimensionals. So I'm just going to use 3 to secure our circle to the center of our card here. That looks pretty good. And then for our banner, I'm going to use 3 again. We're going to do 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and then this is just going to set. There we go. Just like that. Isn't she cute? All right. Then I need some twine. And need our snips. And I'm going to do a double bow. Let's try that again. There we are. Now we're just going to get our bow the right size here because we want it to be too big. That looks pretty good. And then we're just going to trim things down. Yes, Kay, two-step stamping is my favorite too, because who's got time for coloring in? But we are going to do a little coloring tonight, even though we do have the two steps available to us. You don't always have to, even though it is my preferred method. Okay, there we go. We need a glue dot. And then I'm going to use my take your pick tool to just pop that off there. And this is going to just tuck in like so. There we go. And there is our first card. Super cute, super quick. Who doesn't love a quick and adorable card? All right. And this Notes of Spring is so stinking cute. All right. Card number 2. This is our cute little bunny with a little note of thanks. So for this one, we have a Calypso Coral card base, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And once again, using our bone folder, we're just going to burnish that out to give us a nice, crisp edge. Then I have here a piece of early espresso. This measures 3 3/4 by 5. And then, where are you? I have here, this is the Damask Designs embossing folder. And I went ahead and I ran this through the Big Boss. And we have our embossed piece here. Actually, I get to go this way. So we're going to layer these two pieces. And this here piece is I'm sorry. So I gave you the wrong measurement on the early espresso. So the Calypso Coral is 5 by 3 3/4. The early espresso is 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. So that is the correct measurement. So that's 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. Calypso Coral embossed piece is 5 by 3 3/4. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to layer these together. And then we'll go ahead and add that to our card front. And that gives us just a very minimal border here. So there's our panel. And then we can go ahead and add this to our card front. All right, there's that. Next, I have a piece of Designer Series paper. It is from the same paper pack. This is 1.5 inches wide by 5 inches long. And we're going to add this to the far left edge of our card base. What's the matter, bud? And that goes on just like that. Next, I have a piece of early espresso that is 1 7/8 inch squared. And that's going to go onto our piece just like this on the angle. So it creates a diamond shape. And I'm going to line the points up with our Designer Series paper. We're going to use dimensionals. You okay, buddy? Tucky's hanging out. He's just sad tonight for some reason. I don't know if he doesn't feel good. He's just not himself. All right. There we go. So that goes on to our card front, just like so. And then I have a scrap piece of basic white. And for this, we are going to die cut. Again, this time we're using the third smallest, or third largest, I should say, stitched circle. And this is from, again, those Stylish Shapes dies. So we're going to bring back our baby boss. And that's going to go on there like so. And run that through. Tucker says hello to Loki too. Okay, so there's our die cut piece. Set that aside. Paper goes into the scraps. And we bring back our little cushion. And we need our little note of thanks. We have our early espresso ink pad. We're going to ink up our stamp. And right at the bottom of the circle, we're going to go ahead and stamp our sentiment. A little note of thanks. So there's that. And where's our little bunny? There he is. So now we need our bunny. And we're going to stamp him also in Early Espresso. Right there on top of the sentiment, like so. And isn't he cute? Now, instead of using our filler stamp like we could, we're going to grab our Wink of Stella. And we're just going to go ahead and start coloring him in, making sure that we get right along those areas where the ink is darkest and help pull in some of that Early Espresso into our bunny, because that's where the ink is still a little bit damp. So it does allow us to kind of watercolor There we go. So now that is done. See, some of the color gets pulled in, but he's still shimmery. So now, more dimensionals. And then that goes like so. And then once again, more of that beautiful twine. I love twine. I usually have a whole stash of it around here. So I use twine a lot. So it goes with everything. There we go. Okay. And then that. Then we need a glue dot. Grab it. And then that will go right there along that side. And that finishes our second card already. I will, Auntie. Auntie wants you to have kissies on the head. Oh, don't look so sad. Good grief. Okay. We are on to our final card already. Can you believe it? We're moving right along. All right. So now we have our especially for you card. So this one's a little different. Our card base, for one, is 5 1/4 by 6 1/4, or 5 1/2 by 6 1/4. All right, got that wrong. 5 1/2 by 6 1/4. With the 5 1/2 edge, you're going to score at 2 inches. So we have our 2-inch flap here. Then with this 2-inch flap, I did run that through our new embossing folder called Lazy Daisy. It's a 3D embossing folder. As you can see, we have very deep impressions of those pretty little daisies. And all I did is I opened my embossing folder because this one is one of the big ones. You have to use the big boss for this. And I just ran it through like so. So it went right through the Big Boss, the seam first, and it just ran through like this. And then we got this gorgeous impression. So that's how that worked. Now, for the rest of the card, we're going to take our bone folder though, and we're going to give this a nice little press from behind. So we have a nice crisp seam fold. And then I have Mossy Meadow and Designer Series paper that are going to layer. The Mossy Meadow being 4 5/8 by 2 5/8. And then I have the Designer Series paper is 4 1/2 by 2 1/2. And they are going to layer like so. So we're going to go ahead, add our adhesive, and layer these pieces. Now, if you don't care about receiving the card kits and you just want to make these cards yourself, tomorrow my newsletter will go out and it will contain the PDF for these cards that will have all the measurements in them. So you'll be able to, especially if you're already a demonstrator and you've already got your Notes of Spring card or Notes of Spring stamp set, and you have all these other supplies, you will be able to make these cards yourself with measurements coming into your email if you're in my email list. And I do have the email link. If you're not already on my email list, just use the link that's in the description of this video, and it will take you to my email list to sign up. If you don't want anything in your inbox and you would rather just go get them, they'll also be on my blog tomorrow morning as well. I do always link them on there. You see all the photos of the cards, and you can grab the PDF. All right, so now this is going to attach to our card base, and I'm using dimensionals to do that. And I am just going to go along top edge here with 3 dimensionals. But obviously, if you'd like the actual card kits to come to you all pre-cut, measured, and ready to go, embossed if you need them embossed, well, they'll be embossed, cut to proper size, the whole 9 yards. Then you'll just want to place a $40 order in my online store before shipping and tax. And that automatically gets you these card kits. And of course, if you want the actual stamp set too, you'll need to place a $75 order. So you can add that to your order for an additional $5. Okay, there's our card base. I do have another piece of Very Vanilla, and this is also the 2 5/8 by 4 5/8. And that's for the inside of our card for writing your message on. And if you want to make sure it's not going to show, you can line everything up on the inside here and then press it down. Or you can just make sure it's centered and it won't show either. But we are going to go ahead and line everything up nicely, just like that, so we know it's not going to show. And that places our inside in. All right, next I have another scrap of Berry Vanilla. And oh my goodness, we need the large circle die again from our stitched shapes, or stylish shapes, I should say. And we're going to bring back the Baby Boss. So we're going to cut this out. I'm just going to keep that a little high because we're going to use our scrap for our sentiment. So we're going to go ahead and roll that through. Okay. Set this aside. We got to keep this. And we need this. All right. So next, we need our circle first. We're going to start with our early espresso. Actually, you know what? Let's bring this in too. Since we're going to have the early espresso, we're going to, we want our, let's do this first. I'm going to close up the early espresso. We'll do that second. I'm going to start with our Mossy Meadow. So Mossy Meadow, we're going to stamp our grass on our circle. And that's going to go right there. Well, thank you, Kay. Okay, so there's our grass. Now we can close this up. And now we need our, but we're going to keep it close. So I'm going to show you a trick. Now we have our early espresso. While I have that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stamp my especially for you. And that's going to go right here on my scrap piece here, especially for you. And now I need my duck. And we're going to stamp our duck right here on our circle. So there's our duck. All right. So now I'm going to take the corner of my ink or my block. And then I want to take my early espresso. And we're going to do another corner. Don't need that much, but it's okay. And then I have Darling Duckling. And we're going to do another corner. There we go. Like I said, I have way more ink than I need, but that's okay. It's okay. Set that aside. Bring in a Wink Estella. What did I do with my little scrap that I had here? There it is. So we're going to have to clean our Wink Estella in between colors. So I'm going to start with my lightest, which is my Darling Duckling here. What we're going to do is beak. And now we're just going to clean that off. Okay. Next, we're going to do our little bit of green. And just going to give him just going to color him in a little bit here. Okay. And again, clean off. Oh, there's my. Knew that was like running out. This will be better. There we go. Okay. Now we need a little bit of brown. And we're just going to give him a little ring on his neck. There we go. There we are. So now we're just going to fill him in. And all you're doing is just dragging that color and spreading it around. There. And then that is just going to go into the sink and get washed. And I hope you can see the shimmer. There we go. He's so cute. I love my little duck. All right. We got to bring our baby boss back because we're going to die cut this with the little banner piece here. This is from the Stylish Shapes dies. And there they are. We need our little Post-it tape. Okay, baby boss. Plates. Okay, what's going on here? There we go. Especially for you. All right, so now we want dimensionals again. Okay, so now we're just going to set our little duck here onto the left of that panel. And then we have our especially for you. And I'm going to use a dimensional on this end and a little adhesive on the left edge. And that's going to go right like so. All right. And finally, we want another try to straighten that out just a little bit. Thanks, Kay. Okay. And trim. And there we go. Blue dot. And that is going to go right under there like so. And that is especially for you. Ta-da! All right. So those are our 3 super cute cards. So we have especially for you with our little duck. We have our note of thanks with our cute bunny. And then we have our happiest birthday with the sweet deer. And that's it. Love these cards. I love the stamp set. It is so cute. And it was definitely fun. Oh, thank you, Carol. Totally appreciate that. Thanks, sis. So definitely worth adding a little extra to your order to get this one for $5. Worth every penny because it is super cute. And like I said, you don't have to color it all in. It does have the filler pieces. So this would color in your grass. The bunny colors in the bunny. This would color in this little floral leaf image. For this grass, you have your goose, duck, and then your little deer. So all right, my friends. I appreciate each and every one of you for coming to hang out with me this evening. And we plan to be back next week. God willing, we'll be here with some more fun stuff. Maybe I'll start bringing out some of the new stuff coming out in May. I did get a few things from the May pre-order. So yeah, maybe we'll start looking at some of that stuff. In the meantime, hopefully your catalogs will be hitting your mailboxes if they haven't already. If you do need a catalog, please reach out. I would love to get one into your hands because it is a fabulous catalog. All right, guys, have a fabulous rest of your evening and an even better week ahead. And I will see you next week. Bye for now.